everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Berklee Alumni's Pass the Mic, where we pass the mic to you. I'm Jaquel.
I am Patrick Pharma.
Yes, you are. How are you doing, boss? What's going on?
Spring is here. We made it through. We made it through the terrible Boston winter that makes everybody move away.
Honestly, yeah. It's like when we lose an hour's sleep, it's kind of bittersweet because it's like, you know what? That's a good sign. The sun is staying out longer, so I'll take it.
Honestly, I'd take 5 hours if it happened sooner.
No, I can't.
There's a push around Boston to move our time zone to Atlantic time, and I am totally down for that.
I'm in shock. I didn't hear that one. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to vote for that. I don't know.
I've looked for every way conceivable that we could do this.
Okay, so how's March? Like, what's been going on as we are coming to a close of this month?
You know what? We did a lot of stuff this March. We started off with Giving Day.
Yes.
And then we just had our Alumni Achievement Awards.
Yes.
And the soiree for the conservatories coming up. So March is a busy time. Mm-hmm. We had some award deadlines, so we submitted the podcast to the CASE Awards again. And the Brassy Awards nominations deadline just passed. So that will be something that is a perennial season opener. We'll wait and see how that goes.
Yeah.
But also, for years, I've always thought, like, it would be great to find some sort of an Irish music thing for St. Patrick's Day. And lo and behold, this was the year that we found it. And it was Daniel Delaney. And he is class in 1996. Very interesting man, very interesting life. He lives in Ireland, and he came to Berklee to study jazz saxophone. And as his cousin was going through one of the family houses and in the attic going through things, found this manuscript of traditional Irish music from the 1850s, maybe. So he's writing a book about that, and we put that on Instagram. So Instagram.com/Berklee Alumni if you want to check that out.
Yes. We've been super busy. And then also just to add to Giving Day, we did our first live stream of Giving Day, which was amazing. It was so cool to hear how donations can help the different organizations on campus. And then for them to give a little bit of a taste of what they do in their groups was really cool to witness.
We're trying to elevate things for alumni so that they can feel more part of the community wherever they are. So we're always trying to advance that.
Yeah. So, boss, who do we have for today's episode?
Today, we don't have one person. We don't have two persons. We have three people. And it's actually a family. It's the Deitch family. Adam Deitch, who is the son, he is the drummer for the band Lettuce. It's basically a Berklee band. They met in their 5-week program and created their own band, and they've been going ever since. They even instituted a Lettuce scholarship at Berklee. If that wasn't interesting enough, Adam's father, Bobby, and mother, Denise, both drummers, met at Berklee and then had Adam, who also became a drummer. So we have the whole family.
Yeah.
It was us in Boston, and then it was Adam in Colorado, and then it was Bobby and Denise in New York. Another one of these everywhere type of interviews.
Yeah.
But just a super cool family. We had a great time talking with them. And as we're doing more of these interviews, I'm learning it's really cool when you have an interview with someone and then you just kind of turn off the recorder and you just hang out and you're still talking. That's kind of what it was like visiting, and it was like Thanksgiving.
Right. We was at their Thanksgiving table and they just kind of welcomed us in, and having that family dynamic was just cool to witness, and we're excited for you to hear it. I feel like we should call this a legacy episode. This is the first time where we've had alums, right? But parent alums and the student alums, children alums. So that's just one of a kind. I'm excited for today.
Does that exist anywhere else in Berklee? Has anyone's children, are we the first?
Very well could be. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I'm sorry. I don't want to burst you guys' bubble, but our student worker, Leia from Spain, her parents actually met at Berklee as well, and she goes to Berklee.
Wow.
That's the only other one that I know. That's the only other one.
But I think you guys are still the first.
So there you go.
Small world. Yes. So first, Bobby and Denise, we want to start with you and we want to know more about your story. Can you talk to us a little bit about how did you all meet? Like, how did you guys meet on campus? What was that like?
Okay, I started in '69 and I was there 2 years. And then I had a great talented friend, Pat Marks, who was playing in a trio. And part of that trio was Bobby.
She was a great piano player and vocalist.
Phenomenal. And she kept saying, you got to come hear this drummer. You're really going to like the way he plays, blah, blah, blah. And I was working in an all-girl band 6 nights a week, going to Berklee, being exhausted. And it took me like 3 months. And finally, I went to see them at a place called Lombardo's in East Boston.
That was in East Boston.
Yeah. And
Really?
yeah. And he played, and I said, wow, I'm thinking, wow, what a great drummer. Yeah, he's pretty good. Yeah. And the next thing you know, he asked me to sit in, and I was like, oh my God, I don't know if I want to do that. But he forced me, and I did, and I sat in. And then when we came back to the table where we were all sitting on a break, he held my hand underneath the table. Which was very cute. Very cute. And I thought that
Smooth.
What guy does that, you know? And it kind of went on from there, and
It's like 52 years ago, right? This happened?
More than that.
Wow.
More than that. And yeah, we hung out through the summer of 72 into 73 and wound up, being together. We found out we had a lot in common. We were both originally from New York. We both had sisters the same age that were older than us and brothers the same age that were older than us.
We were the youngest, the spoiled brats of the family together.
Right.
Yep.
And, when we realized we were both drummers, it was just amazing.
Yeah.
And
we love dogs.
yeah,
that was big.
Had a lot in common.
Yeah.
And when I found that she could really cook well, then I said that sealed the
There you
deal.
go.
Yeah.
There you
That
go.
sealed
That's
the
it.
deal. Wow. You know what they say?
Right.
The key to a man's heart is through the stomach. So
There you go.
that's amazing. So can you talk a little bit more about how your lives grew together after Berklee? So you guys came to Berklee, you guys hung out, that initial meetup. And so what happened after Berklee?
What happened was, I guess, we started living together first. We lived together close to 2 years.
Don't tell my
Before
mother.
married.
She didn't like that.
Yeah, her mother didn't like us living in sin.
Nope.
So we got married in December of 74. And that was it.
I was playing with female bands at the time, and he was playing with all these other jazz people, what have you.
Yeah, and then I joined a funk band in Boston called Cookbook. And
That's when I was pregnant with Adam.
right.
Yeah, he joined this band.
And we were doing mostly Earth, Wind and Fire and Tower of Power covers.
Yeah.
A lot of funk stuff. We did, it was a busy night. We worked 7 nights a week.
Wow.
And
Yeah, and then he would do 50 nights straight.
we did long runs.
And I was home with a screaming baby. Okay.
Three dance sets and 2 shows a night with costume changes.
Wow. So Adam, you're a Boston baby?
Yeah, I was going to see that band Cookbook as a baby.
As an infant, yeah.
I was probably crying because I wanted to sit in.
I know. I'd keep him in the back of the club. He'd be, hold him up, and he'd be dancing and to the beat and carrying on.
And most of that
funny.
band was Berklee alumni also.
Yeah.
Nice.
Then we eventually moved to New York, so Adam could be with his grandparents and what have you.
Yeah, family was down here, so
And
we moved
Bobby
back.
and I started working together, and one of us had to give up the drums and play keys and guitar, which was him.
Mm-hmm.
And I stayed on the drums, and we worked for almost 20 years doing that.
4 or 5 nights a week.
If we had extra money, we'd add a guitar player or we'd add a sax player, and we made a living that way.
Eventually, we were able to buy a house, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
On those days, you could buy a house on a musician's salary.
right.
Exactly,
Well, 2 of you worked
exactly.
together.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I started teaching.
It was just crazy growing up with gigging parents because they were, after dinner, it was time for them to get ready for the gig. And and if I had set the drums up, I had to unpack them and put them into the van. And so my whole life was that was a big part of my life, getting mom and dad ready for the gig and make sure I was home before the gig. They left for the gig.
Homework.
They probably couldn't wait till we left either.
Right.
When I was like, 14, 15, we'd start throwing some parties, but,
Yeah. She came home one night because Bobby forgot a wire, and there was Adam in the studio with a crowd of people around. We were gone 15 minutes. Crowd of people around him having a big party, banging on the drums. Kids all over the house. Oh, my God.
Oh, my
He
goodness.
said he was grounded more than any kid in Nyack ever was.
Well, hey, that was just practice. That's practicing in front of an audience. That's great. Yeah.
When I look back, he was preparing for the future, but
Right.
You know how parents they're always trying to get their kid to like this, study the piano or practice and play the drums or whatever. Our thing was like, the only way to punish him if he didn't do his schoolwork was to lock my studio so he couldn't get to the drums.
That's right.
Right.
Keep him out.
That's right.
Psychology, it worked.
Well, when did you know that Adam had a musical ability?
Oh, we knew from the get-go.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we knew from the get-go. We sat him behind a drum set when he was maybe, 3, 4?
2, really, 3.
Really around
And
3.
he immediately played a beat without being. We just put the sticks in his hand, and he literally
And he just
played,
started playing.
Wow.
Really?
and the foot was going.
Yeah.
And we looked at each other, and go,
Uh-oh.
What
Right.
did we do?
Created a monster.
No.
Wow.
Literally.
He was already ready.
He
Yeah.
was ready to go.
He was ready to go.
And sometimes,
Nice.
like my in-laws, Denise's parents would bring him to the gig
Yeah.
when we were playing locally, and we'd bring him up on stage, that kind of thing.
He'd sit in always, yeah.
Yeah.
You guys were always playing music in the house, either rehearsing, you would have, musicians coming over and jamming. Like there was music always in the house. So it was like, it wasn't a big deal to play an instrument in that house because it was everywhere. It was happening all the time,
Yeah, it's like that, he just figured, like, guess you've just figured this is what they do. This is what you do.
This is what people do.
Right.
I'm also a songwriter, so I think Adam, he would be in his room, like, playing or doing whatever he was doing, hearing me like recording and writing songs all the time.
Nice.
So we got familiar with the studio and how to work all those machines.
How to work the stuff.
Right. So Adam, when did you learn about Berklee, and like what made you decide that you wanted to follow your parents' footsteps?
It's a funny story because I got really into skateboarding around like 14, 15. I was being a punky street kid, and I was kind of like, I didn't know if I wanted to go to music school and do what my parents did. It was like, what kid wants to do the same exact thing,
Yeah, you have to rebel.
I started telling mom, I want to go to art school. Like I was drawing a lot. I wanted to work for Marvel or
He was very good too.
do animation or something. And plus I was bored because there wasn't really anyone in my hometown of my age that I could like play music with. It was like, so I just got into skateboarding and doing that. And then I think my mom suggested, why don't you try going to the 5-week program? It's for 16-year-olds, and you might meet some other kids your age that are talented like you. And that was the best advice I got because I wasn't expecting to like meet anyone. I was like, whatever, I'm going away from the house, from New York for the summer. I'm going to Boston. Let's just see what happens. It's only 5 weeks. And then I meet all the lettuce guys, and we started jamming all day long. So that was a very important bit of advice from mom that I appreciate.
He called up and said,
sweet.
they're just like my friends in Nyack, except they speak my language. So that was it.
Oh, wow.
They spoke music.
Still going, like 30 years later.
Lettuce started before you actually attended Berklee, right?
Yeah, at the 5-week, that was our initial, we just gravitated towards each other like a gang and immediately started playing all day long. We would block off the ensemble rooms. You're only supposed to have them for an hour, and we would block it off for 5 hours blocks, but we sounded good. So all the students that wanted to get in there, they would just end up listening to us and sitting in there. And so that was our first audiences, like, Berklee 5-week kids just sitting in the room with us while we were playing. So that was the beginning of all that.
So how did that then kind of translate to when you started at Berklee?
Well, by the end of the 5-week, we were all best friends, and we were like, we're all coming back to Berklee, as a band, as a gang, as a group of best friends, and we all like high-fived each other, and yeah, we all met again in '94. I was super excited to go back to music school.
So Bob and Denise, how did you feel when Adam came to you saying, like, you know what, I want to go to Berklee. Like, this is what I did when I went to the 5-week program. I'm going back with my boys. Like, how was that feeling? Can you explain that?
Oh, we were thrilled.
We were glad it was close. You could get in the car, you could visit them, you could come home.
Yeah, 3.5 hour drive, you're there.
You didn't have to get on a plane. So we were thrilled. And now he lives in Denver, and we don't like that.
Mountain time. That took a minute. That took a minute for me to figure out when I was scheduling this. How do I do mountain time?
Yeah, right.
So then, Adam, then you get to Berklee. How does that start to play out?
I just felt really comfortable there and having my squad there. And I actually was playing at a gospel church in Nyack in high school for like the past like 2 or 3 years of high school. And when I went to Berklee, as a freshman, I auditioned for the gospel choir, which is like pretty much the hottest gig in Berklee, to play drums with the gospel choir.
Absolutely.
And somehow Dennis Montgomery decided, after a long audition with very amazing drummers that were in that audition, like guys that went on to play with like Prince and Pat Metheny and everybody, like somehow Dennis Montgomery picked me to do it, which instantly made me a celebrity at school.
Absolutely. I'm still trying to win Dennis over.
I was telling my girlfriend last night, it was like being a freshman at a football school and trying out for the varsity quarterback, and I got it. Mm-hmm. That's what it felt like. That was the love I got. So that was a huge confidence builder, and I got to meet so many great musicians that I'm still friends with today from that experience.
That's awesome. So when did you start to realize like that Lettuce was going to be what it is today, like such a great band, and grow into what it is?
I never thought it would be like a business like it is now. I knew we liked playing this kind of, funk music, and I just didn't really see how like the world would embrace our concept, like I would say our bass player, Eric Coombs, he was very much like a cheerleader, like, no, we could do this. This could really happen. This could really be a thing. And he had a lot of faith in it early on, when it was kind of like almost insane to me. Like we're playing instrumental funk music. How can we make a living? Like, mm-hmm. I have to go play for Justin Timberlake or somebody big and get a big gig. But lo and behold, like we just did it, and we had some good guidance and good agents, and we had my parents. My parents are like the band parents, and, put up everybody in line, and now we're doing world tours, and we're going to Japan this year. And
you played with Average White Band before that. You did a tour with them for a couple of years. Then you did John Scofield for a couple of years.
You did 3 albums with Scofield, right?
And everybody in Lettuce was playing with different people,
Mm-hmm.
But you always came back to
They
Lettuce.
always came back, yeah.
That's awesome. Well, then you kind of laid the groundwork for that. Like if you think about like other Berklee bands, like there was no like Imagine Dragons to be like, okay, this is how we're going to do this. Like you're setting that trail for the future Berklee bands too, which is really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to do some kind of TED talky things over there to young musicians that want to start bands, and like and just kind of give them a little like push, like you could do this, and these are the things you have to focus on, and these are like this is how you got to do it, and these are the type of people you want to start a band with, and all that. So that's one of my favorite subjects to talk about.
Okay, well, put your phone on silent. I'm sure someone in the Berklee ether heard that already, and they're calling you now, so.
So did you have any fears for Adam? Was there anything that you told him, any words of advice or wisdom that you shared with Adam?
Always stay healthy. Don't do damn drugs, that kind of thing. As a mother, of course, it's so important that
health is wealth. You always stress health is wealth. Yeah.
Health is
wealth.
Yeah.
And stay even keel. Mm-hmm. Be modest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And just listen to each other. And
I was going to say, you guys are like brothers. And they fight like brothers too, but then they always come back loving each other. They do love each other.
Yeah, I feel like they're my nephews
Yeah.
or something.
Oh yeah.
Aw.
They're good people.
You used to say your writing will get you into circles that your playing won't. Stuff like that. Like so.
Producing and writing, yeah.
And now I write most of the songs for Lettuce, and like that was a push from both of you. Seeing my dad write a lot of music, and mom saying like your composing, your production will get you further into things than just playing drums.
Foothold. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was great advice also.
He's also a good teacher, which I think is great.
We're both educators. I taught in 2 colleges for 12 years, songwriting.
Oh, wow.
And, I conducted jazz bands and did all that stuff, at Ramapo College.
Mm-hmm. And I taught for almost 30 years in public schools.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Mom knew all the tricks. You couldn't get
and all
anything
the
by.
education, being involved in education really rubbed off on Adam, I think, too.
Yeah.
Because he's really excellent at doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now I have the Adam Deitch Academy, which is it's like 55 drum lessons of all from beginner, intermediate to advanced, and people can subscribe to it. So that's the Deitch Academy, and I owe that to my parents for being educators and understanding how to educate, which means you want to help someone figure out something the fastest way and the way that makes sense to their brain. And it's not about confusing the student. It's about figuring out how the student learns and actually applying your lesson to the way that the student learns. And that's the way I was taught.
And you learn so much from teaching others too, because you have to have it. You have to make it make sense in your head before you can make it make sense in someone else's head.
That's right. The great Maya Angelou said, when you learn, teach.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When you know, teach. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Bobby wrote a great book for beginners. He worked in a special ed school for like 10 years near the house.
Ran the music program there.
Ran the music program and learning from. You talk about it because you did it.
Yeah, these students had learning disabilities, severe learning disabilities, and emotional difficulties, and but there was a drum set in the classroom, and they wanted to learn how to play beats. So I wasn't going to start teaching them theory and all that kind of thing.
Quarter note.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I figured out a way to get them to play beats, just by using numbers.
Mm-hmm.
So the hi-hat goes 1, 2, 3, 4. The bass drum goes 1 and 3. The snare drum goes on 3, and then you have a rock beat.
Yeah.
So I wound up each week they would say, "Show us something else. Show us something else." Eventually, I put out a book, called The Drummer in You.
Oh, wow.
And sold a bunch of those.
And I recommend all beginner drummers get this book. It's incredible.
We tried it out on all of our friends that weren't musicians, and within 10 minutes, everyone's playing beats.
Yeah, I used to pull people off the street and just, "Hey, come in here, let's try this."
Experimenting. That's really clever.
That's how you do it.
That's really cool.
No, seriously. One thing we talk about a lot with the alums is like how music is his. Well, Adam, you also were saying how music is his own language, and that's like something that people can connect with all over the world, no matter where they are, how they are, no matter their background. So I think that's really cool that people can learn, and you was able to find a way to teach them in such simpler ways. And sometimes it could be like formidable, like nerve-wracking trying to learn something new, another language, on its own. So to be able to find a way to make that easier, I'm sure was a great thing.
Yeah. And the Deitch family, we speak music first and English second. So music is our first language. So it makes it easier for us to explain musical concepts and stuff to people that maybe they don't have as deep as a background. And we, for us to be able to adjust our information for the people we're speaking to, depending on their musical background and what they understand. So we love doing it. We love teaching and performing.
Oh, wow. That's so incredibly powerful. Yeah.
A quick anecdote is, whenever Adam would be at the house, whether it was before college or after, or when he was on tour with Lettuce, if he's home, we'd be playing, say, jazz on the stereo in the house. And as soon as the drummer, we'd be talking, and when the drummer would take a solo, the three of us would just stop talking and just
silence, listen
to what the drummer's doing.
Yeah,
that became common practice.
Yeah. And also my whole life that we listened to jazz radio during the day or at dinner. And then if the drum solo came on, my dad would go, who do you think that is? Why do you think that's Roy Haynes? Like, what is he doing? Is that Tony? Is that Elvin Jones? Like, what about his playing? So it was always like constant discussion to recognize the sound of different musicians and who they are and how they play. And that was also a great learning experience.
That's so cool. That is awesome. Yeah. No, I mean, it's so cool to hear you all talk about this because it's something that it's just a crazy kind of combination of you all together that built this beautiful thing of, playing great music greatly, but then also being able to share that with others.
Yeah. Well, that's what it's all about. Music is a performing art, and it's all about communication.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I just want to say, we're so proud of Adam. Everybody's, when you see social media, people say, oh, you two must be so proud, but we really are.
Yeah.
I'm always amazed by what he's doing.
He works so hard,
He's a drummer's drummer.
Yeah.
I mean, even the greatest drummers you can think of that are contemporary today, are just look at Adam and go, wow.
Yeah.
But I'm equally as proud of you. I don't know if you guys know, but my dad's band, Forever Ray, which is a really great Ray Charles tribute band that my dad put together and is the leader of that band, is now like on the Blue Note Jazz Festival with, on the flyer with all these like international jazz artists, and he did it all himself. Like he started the band, he got an agent, he got in there and did it all.
They're together 20 years.
Wow.
Yeah. We're very proud of that. It just turns out that the lead singer sounded like Ray, and, I had a lot of friends from Berklee, and, our trumpet player toured with Alicia Keys, and
they're all great.
Somebody else toured with Rod Stewart or Bruce Springsteen.
Wow.
And we put this amazing band together, and, and our other vocalist, Angela Workman, actually toured and performed with Ray Charles for over 10 years, almost 14 years.
It's like the premier Ray Charles experience band. It's unbelievable. So the fact that they're doing it and they're getting offers in Europe now and offers all over the country, and I'm equally as proud of Pops.
Thanks,
That's
buddy.
so touching. You guys are so sweet. It's so cute. I love families, So can you guys explain how it is to watch each other reach new heights in each other's career? So it's like your parents, you're watching your son, and then you as a son watching your parents still kind of like follow their goals and their dreams and just see it through, like how their career developed in each way. How is that to witness the growth as a family?
I mean, we root for each other. We, they're only 22 years older than me. So at this point, we're like,
we're the same age.
They finally caught up to us.
All right, we're going in the home
Y'all
together.
grew up together.
every win and everything that happens in my life that's good, I call them immediately, tell them what's happening, and it's always like supportive. And then every time, something happens with dad or with mom, they call me, that this happened or that happened, or my mom like taught elementary school for years, and there's all these like students that she had when they were in 4th grade, and now they're like in orchestras or in choirs, and they like reach out to her and tell her how great of a teacher she was and how she changed their life, so we tell each other stuff like this, and it's just that's a big part of our relationship is like encouragement and acknowledgement for all the hard work we put in to music.
Yeah, it's all about support, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like, you all have so much in common. You are all rooted in the same thing, but it seems like the distinct part about the three of you is that you all figured out your own blueprint.
Yes.
I think that's what makes it really special, because you all kind of have your own branches going out of the tree.
Exactly.
And it's really beautiful.
Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate that.
What's the feeling of Berklee in the family? Because I know that there's Lettuce has a scholarship for Berklee, and I mean, who knows what would have happened without Berklee? Where
Right.
Right, Adam, you might not be here if it was not perfect.
Who knows? Yeah, I'm so honored that they have a Lettuce and Soul Life class. I'm pretty sure they still have it. It's an ensemble. You get college credit for learning the songs that me and my friends wrote when we were at Berklee. So, that's awesome, and that's a big encouragement. Like Lettuce has performed at the BPC, and like come back there and perform for the kids and done stuff like that, which is awesome to come back there. And I'm happy that there's a school that people can learn modern music and modern technology and synthesizer labs, and you don't have to, worry about writing 12-tone systems, classical, crazy stuff, and
figured bass.
Yeah, it's a modern music, jazz, and pop-based school, and I think that's very necessary for people and to succeed in a modern-day musical landscape.
Absolutely.
How old I am, they had a Moog synthesizer when I was at Berklee. Can you imagine? Do you even know what that is? It's you had to plug in like a switchboard. Yeah.
Still, those are original sounds. You can't recreate some of those sounds. Yeah.
Got to start somewhere.
That's right. I mean, even my Ray Charles band got invited by Berklee to perform there a few years ago.
Yeah.
Nice.
We went up there and performed, put on a show, and that was fun. But we owe a lot to Berklee. We owe so much. I can't even. I don't even know where to start.
Yeah. Also, I had some great teachers. My parents went to college with Jamie Haddad. He taught at Berklee for 30 years or something, and he was also touring with Paul Simon and doing tons of amazing percussion stuff. Mm-hmm. So when I got to Berklee, he was my private teacher freshman year, and he's like, I know your parents. He's like, I can't teach you anything. You can already play. That was my first day at Berklee. My teacher going, your parents can play. I know you can play. What do you want to learn?
That's cool.
And so that's how I started. Instead of some jerk teacher, let me straighten you out, kid. It was like, let's just play. Let's jam. So so Jamie was a great teacher and really gave me. It's important to give your students confidence and not discourage them, from playing, because the more confidence that they have, the more they'll practice and stuff. So I feel like Jamie Haddad knew that, and I had some great teachers. Kenwood Denard, who I'm still friends with. He played with Jocko and all these amazing people, and he was an incredible teacher. Dave DiCenzo. Yeah. I was having knee problems because I was playing too hard on the bass drum, and he fixed my whole technique of how I play. So, and then all the students that are out there doing everything now. Mark Simmons, who's out with George Benson, and Charles Haynes, who plays drums with Keon Harold, the Blue Note all the time. And
what about Lil John Roberts?
Yeah, Lil John Roberts went on to tour with Janet Jackson and huge drum celebrity. These were the John Blackwell, who rest in peace, was Cameo and Prince and all that stuff. Mm. So these were all my guys that were really pushing me and really made me feel like I could exist in this modern musical world. So without Berklee, it's without that confidence, I don't know if I would be here.
I think when you think about it, you can learn just as much from your fellow students as you do from the professors.
Being surrounded by that, yeah.
When I was there, some of my contemporaries were just unbelievable. I mean, J.R. Robinson was there, if you know who that is. Played, Rock With You on Michael Jackson's Off the Wall album. And Steve Smith was there at the time, who played with Journey.
At that time, too, some of the early executives started coming out of Berklee as well. So you actually had musicians entering the executive field, which was nice.
Oh, yeah. I remember when Adam went up. I think, did you run into JR up there, Adam?
Yeah, I went into JR. He goes, "Oh, my God, you're Bobby's kid." I used to sit behind him at his big band rehearsals and watch him follow him around the school. And it's this guy's a legendary, played on Michael Jackson stuff. And he was at Berklee sitting behind my dad learning shit. So
right,
that was big for me to hear. I always knew that. Dad always told me that. But to hear it out of John's mouth. And Steve Smith said the same thing. Steve Smith remembered both of y'all, and and it made sense to them why I was doing what I'm doing.
Wow. Yeah. My parents are cool. I get it. I totally get it. Yeah.
These big time drummers, they knew it. They knew it.
As we're wrapping up, we just wanted to know what's going on in the future. You all gonna work on a triple album together, and
Yeah, I'm working on Mom's album because Dad already has 3 albums out. So Mom's album's the next one to come out.
He made me play some beats and send it to him, and then he's writing music on top of my beats.
Oh, that is awesome.
So sweet.
I
mean, I would like to eventually maybe do an album with Adam, get into a studio and really
That'd be fun.
Something serious.
Yeah, write some stuff together.
That is really sweet. Any last thoughts? Anything that you want to add as we wrap it up?
I'm also in a really good Stevie Wonder tribute organ trio. And
wow.
It's called the Wonder Trio, with two phenomenal musicians. One, the guitar player, was with the famous Ben E. King, who did "Stand by Me." Mm-hmm. The organ player has done a million things, including being the organist at Yankee Stadium. But it's a fun. All we do is reimagine Stevie Wonder songs, which is really a lot of fun.
And then we have the Bobby Deitch Band, who we do all of his original music. Where I'm not playing drum set in that. I'm playing percussion
and singing,
harmony.
Aww.
Background. Yeah.
I was telling Jaquel that you guys must have amazing holidays together and everything, because it's just
incredible. Yeah, you can look on Facebook every Christmas. We either we live stream something, or we make a music video, or we do because we have 2 drum sets in the basement and a full percussion rig. So right before we eat, after we eat,
a lot of food, a lot of playing.
Yeah, it's just really fun, and I just want to also say that the scholarship thing to the 5-week, this Lettuce scholarship is really important to us, and I feel like going to the 5-week as a 16-year-old was really important for me, and finding my tribe and finding my people that I was going to make music with and the rest of my life. So, and just to be able to send a kid to the school to experience that, I'm not saying they're going to meet, their band that they're going to play with for 40 years, but who knows? They might,
Right.
You never know.
Well, they'll be surrounded by great musicians.
They might meet a songwriting collaborator or someone, anything. So it's important to us, to my parents and Lettuce Band that these kids are going to get to do this, and I just want to thank Berklee for making this happen, and we're really excited.
Thank you, Berklee.
Right,
we appreciate you.
Well, and it's fostering that confidence, like you said, getting them in the space to let them know that they belong there. Mm-hmm. So
yeah.
Well, thank you so much, and please let us know if you're in Boston. We'll have to stop by and say hello, and
for sure,
get you a Berklee mug or something.
Yeah, I'll hit you both up. If we come up to Boston, we love Boston.
Yeah,
so we'll hit you both up.
Okay, and we're back. Boss, what's your thoughts?
My first thought is I'm using a different microphone today, and I can't tell what is going on because I'm my voice sounds different. But
oh my god,
I've been listening to my voice on a microphone for 25 years, so I don't know why it's so different today, but maybe it just sounds better. Maybe it's the timbre of my voice. Anyway, love this story. Love how long the family's been in the Berklee community, and also just to see them taking the moment to shut out each other and making sure that Bobby had his moment, and then Adam had his moment, and Denise had her moment. The combination of being performers and being educators, they all have education as in part of their life, but in different ways. Just really super interesting. And we got to find more of these folks. There has to be more folks like this out there.
Just like you, I loved seeing how they were cheering each other on. I am a big family girl, right? And so just to see this family kind of laugh at each other, poke fun at each other, but then also support one another, cheering each other on in their own individual projects. I just thought that was really sweet. And it was just so cool to witness. It's no matter how old we get, we will always be our parents' baby, right? And I feel like that was evident in this episode. So it was definitely a heartwarming type of vibe for me.
So we're at the end of March. Jaquel, you had a big project in March too. Did you want to talk about that?
Yes. Absolutely. So I had this big project and it is called Women on Fire, where I interviewed 4 different women across campus who are trailblazing in their own unique way in their careers. So I'm super excited. It's a sit down type of vibe where I'm asking them questions about their journeys, and it's coming out soon. So make sure you stay tuned for that. It kind of gives not like my own version of Oprah, you know?
Wait till you see it. There was a full set.
I'm excited.
There was everything going on. We have to thank Christina Quarles, our events person here at Berklee, who really knocked it out of the park as well. So thank you, Christina.
Yeah, not only that, but it was done by an all-women production crew. We had our student workers, Laura. She did everything. Patrick was no help. We really didn't even need him. We put up, really, it was all Laura. She put it all up. She hooked up the wires. And then also our other student worker, Leia, she performed one of her own original songs. So it's just all super beautiful in a way to just cheer each other on and celebrate womanhood.
And another couple students that are graduating this year. So we're just year after year losing our students.
Don't remind me.
They're on to bigger and better things, we know.
It's tough. Yes, absolutely. Still tough though. But yeah.
Speaking of on to bigger and better things, playing us out today is Beth Yap, who is from the class of 2019, and her stage name is Biddy. And the song that we have here is Mango, which she submitted through the Alum Notes submission. So we do read the Alum Notes submissions, folks. So make sure you go to berklee.edu/alumni. Let us know what you're doing.
Yes, thank you for listening, and stay tuned for the next episode.
I wanted to find love like shopping at the grocery store. Just pick it, check it, buy it, bag it, walk out the door. Feeling so deep, a bad ingredient. Give me relationships that are convenient. I was so hardened by a version of love taught to me. Cupid's arrow ain't a weapon, at least not to me. How do you unlearn your self-defending when you just keep on bleeding? I only like mangoes when they're sweet. I challenge opponents, I know I can't be. They say give and take, well I don't share juice. I only play games that I can't lose. When I can't lose, I don't wanna lose, babe. I don't wanna lose, babe. All my baggage weighed me down so low. I try to be so strong and carry it so low. You give your shoulder the burdens you carry. Such a sacrifice doesn't make sense to me. If it's wrong to put up a front that I'm culpable, I'd rather be misunderstood than vulnerable. Feeling like I'm in control isn't optional. Now don't get the emotional. I only like mangoes, they're sweet. I challenge opponents, I know I can't be. They say give and take, well I don't share juice. I only play games that I can't lose. I only like mangoes, they're sweet. I challenge opponents, I know I can't be. They say give and take, well I don't share juice. I only play games that I can't lose. Love is simple, but loving ain't easy. Love is tough, cinta bukan mimpi. Banyak hujan untuk sedikit pelami. Love is simple, love is simple. Love is simple, but loving ain't easy. Love is tough, cinta bukan mimpi. Banyak hujan untuk sedikit pelami. Love is simple, love is simple. Love is simple, but loving ain't easy. Love is tough, cinta bukan